be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss.
Welcome to today's video. I'm Gary Wiryawan, and today is another everyday photography vlog where I try to challenge myself to do photography almost every day. Not every day, but as often as I can, so that I don't just talk about gear all the time in my channel, but I also practice photography, go out and try to create some photographs as well. If you want to watch the other episodes of the everyday photography vlog, definitely go to this link up here. I will put a card above where you can watch the other vlogs. I think you will like them if you like this video. But anyway, today I'm here in a restaurant again in the countryside. So it's lots of greeneries, lots of trees, lots of paddy fields, that kind of stuff that I usually shoot in my everyday photography vlogs. And I thought I want to try to come up with some pictures in today's video. And in today's video we have some special lenses. First of all, my favorite 35 to 100mm f4 to f5.6 telephoto lens. I will use it today. And then also my new favorite wide angle lens, the Panasonic Lumix 14mm f2.5. I will use it also today to capture some photos and also portraits of my wife. And today we have a very special lens, and that is the Meike 7.5mm f2.8 fisheye lens. We'll try to come up with some compositions while I'm also learning about that particular fisheye lens. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. The main camera for today's video will be the Panasonic G85, and for the vlogs I will use the DJI Pocket 2. Now let's try to shoot some pictures. Alright, so for our first composition of today, I'm just thinking about this tree right here. I think it looks really fantastic, and I want to try to capture it with the 14mm f2.5 Panasonic Lumix lens. This is quite a wide angle lens, not really too wide, it's just a moderate wide angle lens. Very similar focal length to the camera on the regular smartphone, and I think it will make a nice kind of composition for this kind of tree right here. So I'm at aperture priority. This is my preferred mode for like everyday shooting like this. I don't want to think too much about the camera settings and whatnot, so aperture priority is perfect. I'm thinking of shooting it a little bit top down, maybe f5.6. I'm using auto ISO, and let's just try to compose the tree by itself. I think it looks kind of nice, something like this. Let's try. It's a little bit overexposed on the background, so I'm kind of using the exposure compensation dial to bring down the exposure a little bit, so now it's properly exposed. A little bit dark, but I will bring it up later. By the way, all of the images that I will take today will be raw, and I will post-process them in Lightroom with my usual processing workflow. Very simple workflow, just adding a little bit of clarity and the haze, as you can see on the sample pictures that I've taken right now. Something like this, very simple. Let's step back a little bit. I want to try to capture the tree, but horizontally, not vertically, and trying to include the concrete part on the bottom, those stones paved way. I think it looks kind of nice. Let's try to crouch down a little bit. With the GX85 you have this tilting screen. I think it really helps to capture low angle composition like this. Let's adjust the exposure compensation, and yep, we can get everything in just one frame easily like this. So over here we have this beautiful sitting area with this little tree right here, and then also the trees on the right. I think it looks beautiful. I want to try to capture the vibe and the mood of this particular place, you know, like a romantic evening dinner, that kind of stuff, with the 14mm again. So let's try to do just that. I want to try to include the tree on the left, those chairs and desk on the right, and also the greenery backgrounds. Maybe something like this. Let's try to adjust our angle. I'm going to move as we speak a little bit to the right and see what we can capture by moving to the right. Yeah, looks okay. Let's try from the left and see what we can capture from this angle. Sometimes this is what you need to do, to move around and to try to check your angle so that you can get different kind of perspective, and then choose the one that you think is the nicest one something like that. Aperture priority f4. I decide that I want to try to capture this left angle right here. I think it looks nicer. f4 aperture priority auto ISO, and exposure compensation about -1 stop as for now. All right, that's the image. We have the sun shining. The weather is a little bit crazy. We have lots of rains this past few days, but I hope that today it's not raining soon. Maybe later in the evening that's going to be fine, but as of right now, because I'm recording this vlog for you guys, I hope that it's not going to rain. So yeah, I'm going to try to take the picture using my thumb to autofocus on one of the desks right there, and then move to compose while holding the shutter button and then pressing the shutter button with my thumb. And speaking about pressing, don't forget to press the like button down below. Wow, really nice transition. I like it right there. Yeah, don't forget to give this video a like using your thumb, like I'm using my thumb to press the shutter button of this camera. Alright, now it's time for macro photography. I'm going to try to capture this little flower right here, this orange thingy right here, with the 14mm lens. So the closest focusing distance of this lens is about 18 centimeters, so quite close. Not really a macro lens, but in a pinch you can take a close-up image of flowers and things like that that you find on the road. So let's try to do that. Just a simple center composition, f2.5 aperture priority. So that's like where I should focus. That's the closest that the lens and camera will go. So let's try to capture the image. All right, let's do vertical. Try to raise it a little bit so we can get more drama. I think that's always nice. Something like this. All right, it's starting to struggle with the autofocus. That means I'm hitting the limit of the closest focusing distance. All right, let's try it one more time. I like the vertical one. Let's try this flower right here. Maybe it will give me a more dramatic result. I don't know, let's try. We'll never know if we don't try. And now there are winds and I have to kind of freeze the image. Oh, there are some like little butterfly. I want to try to capture it again. Let's try to capture this little guy trying to just kind of drink the flower or something like that. I don't know. Oh, he's flying. Alright, so now I have my wife right here volunteering to be the model of today's photo shoot. I want to try to take some wide angle portraits with the 14mm lens again. I found this spot earlier. As you can see, we have the trees and also the flowers, that tree and that building right there. So let's try to take picture. f2.5. I'm going to be a little bit closer this time for more background blur. All right, 1, 2, 3. Nice. More background blur. Again, 1, 2, 3. Half body portrait. Again, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Nice. All right, so now I switch lens and I have this Meike 7.5mm f2.8 fisheye lens right here, which is a very interesting new lens that I want to try. This is not too expensive, or maybe it is expensive. I don't really know about the price outside from Indonesia, but yeah, now I want to try to learn how to use fisheye lens because it's basically a wide angle lens with a little bit of, not a little bit, with significant amount of distortions on the corners and the edge. So I'm going to try to just photograph this tree right here using the fisheye lens as sort of a starter to see how the lens actually works. And yeah, at first glance, oh, by the way, this is manual focus only, so I'm focusing at about 3 meters because everything will be sharp anyway, from 3 meters all the way to infinity. So at first glance, it doesn't look like there's a lot of distortion, especially if you're shooting straight like this. You're not kind of angling it or anything like that. But once you start to play around with the angle of the camera, then you can start to see distortions, especially on the corners, as you can see on the camera right here, as opposed to if you're doing it straight like this. So let's try to exaggerate the effects of the distortion by angling the camera a little bit. Let's try to take one picture like this. This is f2.8. Let's try to check the focus. I'm zooming in really close, and I'm focusing to those little white flowers on the tree right there, something like this. I think this is nice. Right, f2.8 aperture priority, so basically everything is automatic. So I found this nice weird kind of traditional musical instrument right here that makes some nice noises when there are winds. It's called angklung in Indonesia, made from wood, and I want to try to use the fisheye lens to exaggerate the perspective and the image, and I'm trying to use the closest focusing distance ability of this lens to try to capture this musical instrument right here. So yeah, 15 centimeters. I'm moving back and forth until I found the perfect focus, and then everything else is aperture priority, everything else is automatic. Something like this, f2.8, we get plenty of background blur and a kind of cool unique image of the angklung musical instrument right here. Alright, so now I'm switching to my absolute favorite lens, the Panasonic 35-100mm f4 to f5.6. If you've been following me on my vlogs, you know that I use this lens a lot, and today it's no exception. Alright, I'm very excited to use this lens. So first thing first, I want to try to come up with some composition. So I'm thinking about that farmer right there. I want to try to capture him. Street photography style, 100mm f5.6 aperture priority. Let's try to capture him. Something like this. He's kind of like spraying water or substance into the plants. Well, let's try to come up with different compositions. I want to wait until we can have a clear picture of him. Let's wait for a little bit. Wow, this is fun. We have the hut behind as sort of the background. Nice. This is very street photography style, by the way. I don't do this a lot in Indonesia, but when I'm abroad and I have the opportunity to do street photography, I will definitely do it. Alright, we have a clear frame of him. Don't want to waste this opportunity. That's why I'm setting the camera to aperture priority, and as we speak we are adjusting our composition and that we can get a good picture of that farmer right there. Alright, I think this is it. Alright, money shot. You have it? Nice. Alright, now let's try to photograph that hut right there. As you can see it's very small on the DJI Pocket 2, but with the 100mm of the 35-100 we can get a clear picture of the roof of that particular hut. I want to try to include a little bit of the leaves on the foreground right here as sort of a foreground. It will be blurred, but I think it adds into the image, something like this. Very nice, f5.6 aperture priority. Let's try to photograph that farmer again who's still spraying the plants. I think he looks kind of cool, like he's holding a weapon or something. No, not really, just taking care of his plants. I think it looks kind of nice. Let's try horizontal, and let's try to include the hut. Oh, it's a little bit tricky because we have these leaves right here. I'm gonna wait until he moves a little bit to the left part of the frame, or maybe I can just zoom out. Let's try to zoom out 70mm, something like this, maybe. Alright, I hope you can see the vlogging camera as well. I hope you can see what happens on the screen of my camera. I'm waiting for the perfect moment. Something like that. Yeah, that's really nice. Now let's zoom to 100. Now let's do vertical. Nice. This is what I was hoping for. Really nice. Alright, I think we got it. And that wraps up today's video. So that is all for today's video. I hope that today's episode is inspiring, entertaining, makes you want to go out and try to photograph something. So please comment down below, what do you think of today's picture, especially the ones taken using the fisheye lens and the other lens as well. And also comment down below what is your favorite gear for capturing everyday photographs. Also, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, and subscribing to my channel down below. If you want to support my channel even further, use the affiliate links in the description below and use the super thanks button as well. Thank you and see you on the next video. Goodbye.